In today's video, we are going to be looking at the major currency pairs, gold and Bitcoin. We're going to look at what has happened this week and probably what to expect going into next week. It's a pleasure having you guys here. I remain Tolu of CSA Forex, and we are going to learn how to trade the Forex market or any market whatsoever the proper way. A quick disclaimer, kindly note that this should not be used as a form of trading signal, but strictly for educational purposes only. Great. So now looking at, let's start with the fiber, the Euro USD. I'm going to just do something for you quickly. I'm going to show you, as you can see, I have boxed out what has happened this week, more or less. And you can see for this week, the market has been ranging, consolidating for fiber, for cable ranging, for Aussie ranging, for the Kiwi ranging, dollar Swiss ranging. And you can see there's a pattern here. Most of the majors have been what? Have been ranging. The best movement for this week, if you ask me, has been the dollar card, and then gold also has been good enough based on what we can see here. And then the Bitcoin has also been ranging. But of course, we already know that the Bitcoin, this was expected, if you ask me, especially based on what happened last week. If you remember last week, we had this heavy drop on the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. And of course, after that heavy drop, if you check the weekly time frame, you'll see that we had this big bearish candle. I want to do something for you guys. I want to show you something. This is the 1 hour time frame for this week. As you can see, after the big drop from last week, you can see that throughout this week, it has been moving sideways. If you cross over to the 4 hours time frame, you'll still see the sideways, and then it's giving you more information on what is happening in that sideways. The truth about sideways markets or ranging markets or consolidating market, whatever you want to call it, is that after a ranging market, the market should either move in the same direction that is coming from, right? Because this ranging is a means of resting. So you should either move in that same direction and then give us another ranging and then move in that same direction again, or it could decide to push higher, right? Break that previous prevailing trend, push higher, and it could have either a range or a retest of that range and then push higher again. So you always have to have a good enough idea of price movement, what price wants to do, and all of this has to do with price action. And trust me, when you have a trending market, you still have elements of consolidation, right? So you must understand what phase we're in now and what to expect after. So this is what we're going to be doing. This is the Bitcoin. If you cross over to the daily, you can see it a bit better from a daily time frame. You can see it's about, let me zoom in a bit for you. You can see it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've had about 5 days of consolidation. And that's why I said this week, because today is Friday, the last trading day of the week, right? So as you have this as 5, you cross over to the weekly, and you can see it's one candle. So one candle, by the time you break down to, that's one weekly candle, by the time you break down to 5 daily candles, or you break it down to about 120 hourly candles, or anyhow you are looking at it, it will give you clearer picture of what's happening in the market. And if you look at what's happening in the market over here for the Bitcoin, we had this big bearish candle, bearish engulfing, and now we're having a very small, tiny, itsy bitsy doji. This could easily mean that the market wants to continue in that prevailing move. If that happens and then it tests this lows, it could either bounce off it, and that's around the 19K, 18K marker, or it could break out, use that as a new area of resistance, and then drop further down. I don't want to scare anybody and say, oh, this is where Bitcoin might go. But at the end of the day, everything is on the chart. And you can do the same thing for other instruments like the Euro USD, where you have the 4 hours time frame. You know, it gives you more understanding of that range from the 4 hours time frame perspective, from the daily. And if you look very well, everything seems to be following that break, or rather that drop, range, drop, range, drop, and at times you have the pullback and then drop, pullback, drop, range, as you can see over here on this Euro USD. If we were to identify the movement on this Euro USD, you will see a drop. Here is a range, a little drop, a pullback, a drop, pullback, a drop, range, drop, pullback, drop, range. You can see what we're doing over here. We're following how the market is moving, right? And if you understand this movement, anytime you see like a sideways consolidation like this, then you should know most likely, because the trend is your friend, and that is where the strength of the market is. Most likely, the market is going to follow through. And if you look over here, can you see this bearish engulfing to give confluence based on the directional bias and then the trend pullback? Some people call this like the base rally drop or whatever. Some traders normally call it, there are different ways people look at it, but it's still the same thing we're talking about here. And if you look at this here from the Euro USD daily, this is similar. This is very much similar to what we looked at now on the Bitcoin weekly, right? Where we have the bearish engulfing, and then today we're having that very tiny itsy bitsy looking doji, right? But then what happened? We had the drop, pullback, little range, drop, range here, and a drop. And it looks like on the Euro USD, we're having a little range forming here. We need more information going into next week to see what could happen. Will it give us a more range? But trust me, with even the fundamentals of what's happening out there for Eurozone and so on, we're expecting it to do what? To drop down some more. With all the gas prices, the war in Ukraine, inflation, impending recession. Well, you might say they're not in recession yet, or nobody's recession yet. Only time will tell. But all of these things will give us more clarity at the end of the day. So that's just a quick one talking about the major currency pairs and of course gold and Bitcoin. You could also do this as a little exercise, play around with the different time frames. Different time frames will give you different interpretations, will give you different views of what's happening in the market. And of course, once you start to take note of the pattern, you can take advantage. One thing I would always say, art, A, area of interest, R, reaction to the area of interest, and T, the trigger. So make sure that you're following your strategy. Your strategy comprises of the art, A-R-T, that I just mentioned, the area of interest you want to enter, and then the reaction to the area, and then the trigger. So I want to say thank you guys. If this video has been helpful, you know what to do. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and please give the video a like. If you have any questions, comment in the section below. It's Easy Friday, TGIF. It has been a good one this week. It has been rather quiet, but all the same, it has been a good one. Enjoy the weekend. Catch you same time next week. Goodbye and God bless.